So I don't know how to video these things, and I probably will never share this. I need to get comfortable doing the whole camera thing, so that is what I'm trying to do. I started already, obviously, because I was not thinking about filming stuff. Now I am. I am using this Let's Resin Glow in the Dark powder to put in some color on this mold here. I got it from Temu because they're inexpensive. I am just brushing it into the areas that I want this color. Hopefully it will glow in the dark the way I am thinking or planning it to, because that would be very pretty, but we'll see. So far, excuse me, my experiences with resin have been challenging, to put it nicely, I guess. I don't know how many of you have worked with resin, but it is sentient. No, but it does seem to have a mind of its own, and I can use the exact same resin in the exact same room with the exact same temperatures and the same molds and same pigments and all of the things being the same, and they will come out different. So there's really no way for me to guarantee. I mean, maybe people out there that have more experience than I do have found ways to make it more consistent or reliable or compliant. But I have not found that yet. Don't know if I ever will, and I guess I don't really care. I mean, part of the process is seeing what happens. I guess that's part of the fun. It can also be extremely frustrating and annoying, but you know, that's just how things go sometimes. So I am gonna see what this does. I don't have a favorite pigment yet. I have not been doing this very long, and I have not tried a whole bunch of different ones. I've been given the, what was it? Some mica powder as gifts. And I've had, this is the other type that I've used. They're great. They are shimmery and pretty, and the colors translate well in the resin. They create all kinds of cool effects. Sometimes they can disappear if you're, you know, ruled by Murphy the way I am. But most of the time, yeah, they're highly suggest using mica powder as one of your coloring agents. Oh man, I got pink in there. Oh well. Hopefully it stays on top and doesn't destroy the yellow inside. The yellow is also a glow-in-the-dark pigment powder by Let's Resin. I used some of it before. I made these little succulent things. It was very, very subtle glow, barely seeable, but maybe I just didn't use enough powder or left them in the dark too long. I don't know. This is a magenta. Looks more of a hot pink to me, but being a glow in the dark powder, it's not going to be, you know, true to its name's tone or whatever color. I'm trying to do kind of graduated lines. I'm like blushing it out because I am going to be coming in and the flower itself is going to be white to match some other ones that I already made that are not glow in the dark, so I don't know why I'm trying to match them, but I guess it doesn't matter if I only have one glowing in the dark. I wanted to test the glow in the dark and I'm going to put them in my yard, so if it works and looks good, then I will make more and have a whole army of little glow in the dark flowers, well, big glow in the dark flowers. I'm going to blush the tips of these just to catch their shape and because I want to. These are like the background petals. And one of the other flowers I already made like this. I did the tips and I liked that, and then one of them I didn't do the tips and it made it look pretty flat. So I'm hoping that this will correct that on this flower. I wasn't going to do this today. The grandkids were supposed to come over and make cupcakes with me, but they canceled. So I figured I better keep myself doing something besides sitting on my couch and doom scrolling. I guess I can't really call it doom scrolling because I don't focus on all of the insanity that's going on in the world right now. I can't. I kind of lose my shit if I do. So I mostly just watch other people make dolls and paintings and woodworking and of course comedy. I guess I should have cleaned my mold first. Ha! Oh well. Par for the course. So yeah, that's it. That is the extent of the powder work I am doing on... Oh, you know what? Actually, I might want to put... I don't want that to just be white inside there because I think it might translate weird. I do have green. Oh, this is yellow. I don't want yellow or blue. Let's see. Are those? Here it is. Green. I would prefer a brown, just for like a reddish brown for this particular flower, but I don't have that in a glow in the dark. And since the purpose of this is to test my glow in the dark thingies, where the heck are my scissors? I'm going to do a green. It'll still look pretty because green and yellow and pink and white are pretty flowers as far as I'm concerned. And since it's going in my yard, that's what I care about. Yeah. However, if you know of another color that would have looked cool, let me know. And semi-open to suggestions. Sometimes I have a very clear idea of what I'm going for, and so I tune out what other people say, and when that fails, I go, damn it, I should have listened to them. But yeah. This part is simultaneously relaxing and calming and also tedious and boring. I think there's a lot of that in making art, where you can kind of decide for yourself whether you want to be relaxed by it or bored by it. I tend to go bored only because if I go relaxed, I will put my brush down and go take a nap. And if I go bored, it keeps me thinking about what comes next, which is part of the excitement for me. So that has a kind of dual effect as far as sometimes it makes me rush when I shouldn't, and then I make mistakes, and you'll see that a lot in my work, and you'll know, I bet she was bored and hurrying there. And the most annoying thing is that I totally choose it. Like, I am very aware of the fact that I am picking that frame of mind. But I gotta try to find ways to stay motivated, because naps are a constant lure. Oblivion calls at all times, and it is such a peaceful place to be. But I have to say, Oblivion does not offer nearly as much beauty or fun as making stuff and going places. Mix more green. Oh well. Excuse me. I don't know how to edit any videos yet, so hopefully I learn that. So you guys don't have to listen to me burp. Yeah, okay. So this is the worst part, and the most exciting, and the most annoying. I'm going to mix the resin to go ahead and pour in here. I am going to use just some basic cheap stuff. It works just fine. It does have some inconsistencies with its time that it takes to set up and cure. It's a surprise every time. But yeah, I'm gonna use that part B and this part A. Where did I put my mask? You'll notice, safety first, I already have my gloves on. I end up making quite a mess. You can see resin has gotten all over my tabletop at one time or another. It's just hard to avoid. And because of that, there's little smudges and smears of uncured or unmixed resin all over things. And I can clean it off. I've found a solution of rubbing alcohol and water works pretty well. But I miss stuff and I don't want to get the chemicals on my hands. I have seen some gnarly results from people working with exposed skin in not just this type of resining, but a number of different kinds, and it can get gnarly and you can build up a sensitivity to it, so it's not necessarily something that immediately happens. It happens over time, and I don't want that because I like working with it as much as I hate it. I like it. I also wear my half mask. The fumes, when the resin is unmixed, totally fine. You're not going to have any trouble with that. However, once you mix the hardener with the resin, it can become toxic. So you want to be in a space with ventilation and wear a mask. Just safety first. Okay, so I'm going to get this on and start mixing. Okay. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'll try. I do have my mask on, so it sounds muffled. Anyways, I have mixed the hardener and the resin, and I'm just going to stir it. I prefer using something like this just because it is a lot faster when you're doing these large quantities. This is a 32 inch, not inch, sorry, 32 ounce cup. So, yeah. And it takes forever. And if you're doing it by hand, and your hand gets sore, it just gets tired, and it makes the whole process a lot more annoying. I push it along the bottom, I go along the sides and the top. I don't have a vacuum or a pressure box or whatever they do. I've seen some people use some, I can't remember what it is, but it helps get all the bubbles out, which would be amazing considering the issues I've had with bubbles. But I can't afford it right now, so eventually, one day, maybe, hopefully, we'll see. I do have like a dental vibrator thing, like a sonic, and that does help. It's just not as effective or efficient as the vacuum. But this little thing, I have a rechargeable one, and I have this one which is battery operated. I can link it if you guys want a link to it. I just got it on Amazon. So worth it. it just works faster and better, and I know it because it's fast. It creates more bubbles, which is part of a problem, but I just don't have the patience to mix by hand. So yeah. And they say, so when you're mixing it, they tell you to set it like the directions on a lot of the resins I've used say to mix for about 5 minutes. That's a very unreliable way to mix. You want to mix it until it's clear. So I'll have to point out on the next one. I'm not sure if you caught it, but you could see the difference before. There was the cloudier hardener and then the clearer resin, or maybe it was vice versa. Either way. So what you're looking for inside here is no streaks of the cloudy and the clear blending together. So it's looking pretty good to me. There's still some streaking in here that I see, so I'm going to keep going. I do have some old resin on the mixer right now, but it's dry, so it's not going to contaminate the new resin. It just creates a little bit of a blip when it's spinning around. I don't really care. If it comes off of the mixer, I can fish it out, but I'm not worried about it. I'm not,
I'm not experienced enough in this to teach anybody anything. Um, I am just showing the process that I use to make stuff because it's something to do and a way to share my time, I guess. I used to have friends that we used to get together and do kind of crafting parties, as we called them, or painting parties. We'd get together and paint or draw or make random stuff, and life happens, you get older, move away. So I don't have friends in the area that I live in now um, to do those types of things with, but I still enjoy sharing it, and I'm hoping that maybe through this kind of thing I'll have some online friends that will sit down with me and we can do live things and make cool stuff. um, yeah, something to try, I guess. Also, on that note, um, I do like learning new things, so if you have tips or pointers or no little hacks that can help get rid of bubbles and all that other crap, let me know. Um, Always open to learning. I think my impatience is showing and mixing a little bit faster than I probably should. But this is quite a bit of resin to be mixing at one time, so I have to remind myself to slow down at least a little bit. Apparently, I'm not very good at listening to myself because I'm not slowing down. Okay, let's see. I'm not seeing a bunch of streaks, so I'm gonna call it good. I'm still gonna add color, which will give me more mixing time. It's not gonna fall. Please don't knock over. That would suck. Okay, stay. Stay there. Now I'm gonna add the color that I want. Like I said, I'm going to do white to match the other ones. So I know there's a rule, the ratios that you can use. I'm just using the Let's Resin ink. I could use way more white than that, but I'm not going to. I am going to be putting some of the mica powder. This is the crystal white. I have another one that I actually like more than the crystal white, but I don't know where I put it. So crystal white it is. I just tap it in. Again, I can be more specific. I guess that would probably help me get more consistent results. But right now, this whole thing is an experiment. I'm not going for consistent. I just want to see if these dang glow in the dark lights are going to glow in the dark. Okay, that's good. Ooh. You can tell a lot about how opaque the colors are going to come out just by looking through your cup. You can see how translucent it'll be. For this, because I'm not putting any kind of lighting in it, I am not worried about it being opaque. And because I don't mind if light does come through, I'm not worried about it being translucent, which is why I was not overly concerned with the amount of coloring I was putting into it. It will be white enough for what I'm doing. And the shimmer from that crystal mica powder will be, in my opinion, pretty. Which is why I used it. I keep getting resin all over this table, stuck to it. I need to build a new top. I think I'm gonna put it on some like self-adjusting little legs so that I can level it as I need to. I guess resin is self-leveling, and if your surface is slanted in any way, it's going to pool in that area. I use that to my benefit for certain processes, certain molds that I'm making, or certain effects that I want. So I like to be able to have the flexibility of making it more slanted or completely level in whichever way I want, without having to kind of prop it up with a bunch of stuff. That's how I did it in the past, which is why I decided I wanted to build the table with the adjustable legs. I'm not going to build a whole table, just a top that I'm going to place on top of this one. Hopefully it works. We'll see. My next project, probably the next few days, because I am slowly destroying this desk with all of my crap I keep spilling on it. And it's getting more and more difficult to have good solid pours when there's no good solid surface. Okay, I am done here. As far as I'm concerned, that looks beautiful. Okay, so resin, even the cheap stuff, is still expensive. I try my best to get as much of it off as possible. It's kind of dumb, really, because I have to change my gloves immediately after touching the resin, or I will get it on everything. So I end up using more gloves because I keep touching the resin. Boy, that's not working the way I thought. That's just gonna dip on the table. Hold on, let me put this over on my other worktop. Okay, so Um, my little scrapey stick. I'm just going to pour this in. I don't want to disturb the colors in the middle too much, but I don't really know how not to do that. So I'm just going to pour it, because, yeah, that's all I can think of to do. Trying to maintain some of that pressure there. Pressure. And then the pour down into the little seed spots in the hopes that it will force out some of the air bubbles that are formed. Nice, solid flow. I think this is the first time I've mixed enough at one time to have it fill the mold. I just got these cups. Again, I try to use them multiple times. I like disposable things because they are easier to manage than, say, I have silicone containers, but they do this thing where they bead, like the resin beads up in it, and it can be a super annoying process to get it out, and I, like I said, lack patience, so I tend to use the disposable stuff instead, but I use them way more than once, if I can, and most of the time I can. Okay, that's about all I'm going to get out of here with this. I forgot that I was getting the big cups. I would need big scrapers, so these are not quite adequate. Whatever. Okay. Nope. Trying to get more. Couple drops. Oh well, whatever. Okay. So I am going to just use the same stir stick to make sure that all of the little edges have gotten resin up to them. This table right now is not level, so I am going to have to lift it up and level it, but I don't know that I will this time. Anyways, you can see all the little air bubbles that were in the resin while I was mixing are coming to the surface. I am not going to do anything to try to get rid of the air bubbles at this point. They're not going to interfere with this particular mold. They're not going to cause any problems in the design or the use. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm going to set this over there. And dirty hands means a good day. That's it. I will let this start setting up and curing for about well, I guess that's where this resin is weird. I haven't been able to get a consistent cure time. Or maybe it's not the resin, maybe it's the fact that I don't pay attention to how much other liquids I'm adding to it, so it responds differently based off of the size of, I don't know. I don't know the science. I should. But, I'll probably come back in 3 hours and check it. And see if it's still soup. And if it's not soup, then I am going to shape it. So I don't want the flat flour. I have one flat flour and I don't really like it. It's good for a tray, but that's not what I'm using these for. So, yeah, I will be back. How did he say it? I'll be back. I don't know. I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger and I'm not good at impressions, so I don't know why I'm trying. But yeah, we'll see you in 3 hours.